Like afternoon with temperatures a little bit warmer than they were yesterday. We have started our warming trend. You can also see from some of the lower clouds we have a general easterly flow, and that has been key to trying to figure out exactly where the smoke is going. As I'd mentioned earlier, we have a more east-southeasterly wind at lakefront, so that smoke in New Orleans east is at the moment getting pushed a little bit more out over the lake. As we go through the night, that could shift a bit and move back over the city. And what's interesting is the models are picking up a little bit more of a southerly component as we head later into Saturday, and that could send a lot of that smoke up toward the North Shore. So North Shore folks could get in on some of that smoke as well. At the moment, lakefront east-southeasterly wind, kind of a northerly wind, very general light wind over most of the area and fairly light winds overnight tonight. Temperatures this morning were still chilly and in fact cold enough for a little patchy frost, especially in Washington Parish and just north of the state line in the lower 30s, mid 30s, upper 30s on the North Shore around I-12 and south. And then we were in the 40s south of the lake, and lake water temperatures are in the upper 60s, low 70s. So only 57 degrees at lakefront. Our morning lows tomorrow, 40s and 50s, still a little bit of a chill to the air. But as I said, every day, morning lows and afternoon highs have been getting steadily warmer. In the low 70s outside at the moment, so easily breaking into the 70s during the day today and a little closer to our average high of 75, though our morning low was a full 10 degrees below average, but those are coming up. At the moment, beautiful out toward downtown, 72 degrees with a dew point of 54. Gradually, the humidity increasing, and eventually that's going to kind of catch up to us, and that will start leading to some patchy fog. Maybe by Sunday morning. I don't think it's going to be an issue tomorrow morning, but Sunday morning, and then probably just about every morning as we head through next week, as our dew points are slowly on the rise. We had some very dry air early in the week as soon as that front moved on through, but over the last couple of days, we've started to see more of an easterly wind, and it doesn't take much. Being on the Gulf Coast, as soon as that wind comes back off of the Gulf waters, humidity immediately starts to rise, along with our temperatures on the rise as well. As I mentioned, probably starting Sunday morning, we'll have to be on the lookout for the morning fog and no real rain chances, even as models are indicating a weak front moving in by the end of next week. Our second driest month is November, and it looks like that will continue. The upper pattern has also started to shift. Notice more of a west to east flow across much of the nation. That has allowed temperatures to start warming as well. Now, with the exception of right along the northern tier states and kind of the parts of the northern Midwest, those areas are still getting into some of that colder Canadian air, but generally speaking, that colder Canadian air is going to stay bottled up in Canada, maybe on occasion coming just south of the border, but otherwise we, for the most part, will continue warming up. Now, as we head later into the week, notice we do start to see some cool downs across the central U.S. Never does really reach us until we get that weak front to move on through, but overall, it looks like our temperature trend will keep us warmer than average. And looking at November on the whole, it looks like we'll stay generally above average with rain chances. What we're looking at here is basically normal, not drier than average, not wetter than average. Really, the only area wetter than average for the month of November is going to be the Pacific Northwest. So we probably will see an average rainfall, which, as I mentioned, is typically the second driest normally in a year. So not much rain in the forecast. High pressure is also going to keep us under mostly sunny skies, so gorgeous weather heading into the weekend and early next week. Eventually, we'll start to see a little bit more of a southerly component to that wind, and that'll start bringing back maybe a little bit of cloudiness before another weak front moves through by the end of next week. But that one is not going to bring us much rainfall. Remember, Saturday night, we gain an hour. You have to turn those clocks back 1 hour for those that still have analog clocks. Most of them are digital and just reset by themselves. Morning lows will gradually get a little bit milder. Back into the upper 70s we go this weekend, and then lower 80s heading into most of next week with likely a brief but weak cool down heading toward next weekend.